So, Mark, what do you make of the lines today? Is this going to reflect in initial sales? Are more people just ordering online?
So to break it down, what we're seeing is lines about half that what we saw last year for the iPhone 10, but about double that what we saw for the iPhone 8. So if you think about the success of the lines and the orders so far, I would sandwich it right in between. The iPhone 8 last year didn't have very strong demand, but the iPhone 10 did. So overall, for a phone that, for all intents and purposes, is far more expensive than many of the other mainstream phones in the market, and this year having very few new features, is a home run for Apple.
Look, Andy, you worked with Steve Jobs for many years when there was only one product in any one product category. Now there's a family of iPhones. It's hard to remember how many iPhones there are. What do you think about this strategy?
So I think the real product is iOS and all of the connections to it and all of the peripherals and accessories and all of that. So I think it's really still kind of one product.
So then is it a smart strategy?
I think it is. I mean, if that's the product, the more accessories and stuff they can sell with it, the better, I think.
Meantime, Mark, I do want to get your thoughts on everything that Amazon unveiled. Again, a lot of products. Hard to remember. I think there's 70-some products and devices they now have out there. Walk us through what you think has real potential. What might be more of an experiment for Amazon?
So what we're seeing, if you're comparing Apple to Amazon, two completely different strategies. Apple sticking to a few things. People complain they have too many phones, but in reality it's 7. Whereas Amazon, they released upwards of 7 new products yesterday. Things that are experiments, right? This microwave, which by the way they're not actually making themselves. It's just an Amazon Basics branded microwave. That's an experiment. I think that's going to feed into their Whole Foods longer-term strategy. This wall clock, I don't know how many of those they're going to sell. The subwoofer and the amplifier products are going to be very niche. That's for a very small market. What's going to be successful for sure is the new Echo Show with that bigger screen, and the new Echo Dot with the louder speakers, and the new Echo Plus. The Echoes themselves, the smart speakers, those are the mainstream devices, in addition to perhaps the DVR for their TV product. But the other stuff is just around the edges. It's not going to make a big impact on their future. It's essentially them just throwing things at the wall to see what's going to stick. And their hope is maybe 1 or 2 of those will stick and they can turn those into long-term product categories. But I don't foresee the wall clock being a long-term solution for them.
We did talk to Amazon's Dave Limp, the guy you saw on stage there unveiling these devices. I asked him, Guru, which devices he thought were going to be most important, and he talked about the bread and butter speakers. So those aside, what do you think will stick of these products?
I think some of the devices that are coming into the kitchen are extremely strategic for Amazon. And the reason being, this is really the next trillion-dollar play for Amazon, and here's why. Once you get in the kitchen, you're now starting to look at the grocery market. Now imagine after going after the microwave, if they have the refrigerator. Once they get the refrigerator, imagine having Alexa automatically order your cheese or your milk or whatever you're running out of, the yogurt and all that. And Amazon already has the Amazon lock installed in your home, where somebody can come in and automatically get your products into your home and into the refrigerator. And that, just to take a step back and think about that market, that's an $800 billion market in the US. And so going after that market is extremely strategic, and they have to make a big couple of plays to go and win. And this, by the way, is on the heels of Amazon, the news coming out that they're going to be launching 3,000 Amazon Go stores across the nation in the next 3 years. So all of this is really a part of a very grand strategy to winning the grocery market.
Andy, how do you think Amazon's strategy compares to Apple's?
Well, I think Amazon is a data collection company. It's a big data company. It's not at all what Apple is, which I call Apple an essential luxury brand. It's a luxury because they're a social currency to having an Apple product in your hands. And it's essential because once your life is tied up to iOS, you're addicted, you're dependent on it. So Apple is good for now, while this particular marketplace is addicted to iOS. But when the next big thing gets introduced into the market that replaces or disrupts iOS, Apple's going to be in a bad position. And I don't think Apple's going to be the one to disrupt itself. They haven't really seen a next big thing happen since Steve died. And whereas Amazon doesn't really need the next big thing, Amazon is perfectly happy to do many incremental small things to collect more and more and more data to enable them to not only get in the grocery market, but every market there is. Healthcare is a huge opportunity for them. Retail is a huge opportunity for them. Home electronics is everything. Everything is a huge market.
Now that said, Google Home has a home speaker. Google Home is a smart speaker that's really giving Amazon Echo a run for its money. Apple has the HomePod, which hasn't made a huge dent yet. And I sat down with Tim Cook last year when the HomePod was unveiled, and I said, well, look at all this competition that's out there already. Take a listen to what he told me then.
For us, it's not about being first, it's about being the best. And giving the user an experience that delights them every time. And so we don't let that impatience result in shipping something that's just not great.
Look, Apple wasn't first to smartphones
or anything
either.
else.
So do you think Apple, and they want to be part of the connected home as well, do you think Apple can come in from behind here, or is Amazon so far ahead it's too late?
So if you're going head to head on one thing, you can see how the best product may win. But if you think about Amazon's strategy, they have really perfected the network effect of it. And what I mean by that is, once you launch a set of things around Alexa, you have AWS developers behind it, you have Amazon advertising dollars behind it, and it's really the full network that's going behind making anything and everything successful at Amazon. So it's not like they're not taking one thing, a phone or an Alexa speaker, and going to the market saying, I'm going to be the best at that. They're really trying to use that as one of the means to drive the broader network effect in AWS, in retail, and in advertising platform services.
Now, Steve Jobs always had words about the competition. I still remember being on the earnings call when he said, we think these Android tablets are dead on arrival. What would Steve Jobs be saying right now about all these Amazon devices?
I think he would be saying, I don't think he'd say dead on arrival, but I think he would say, these are not the kinds of appliances that we're building at Apple. We're building this luxury, elegant, great utility, amazing design, and by the way, pride of association. There's huge pride of association as a customer when you've got an Apple product on your table. That same pride of association or that brand identity doesn't exist with the Amazon products.
But could it?
It could, but they're not moving in that direction. They are not moving at all in the direction of creating a luxury brand. They're really all about data collection. And so the more devices they can have out there that collect data, that inform different parts of Amazon to get into different markets like grocery, et cetera, that's really what they're looking for.
If you look at the ASP or the product price point of each of these products, most of these products that Amazon has launched is below $200. So you can easily see that they're not going after device profits in these things, because that's not going to give you a lot of gross margin by selling something for $200. But if you look at how many times you're going to create a new stickiness in Prime membership, how many new Prime members are you going to get? What is the value of the data that's coming in when you can know that the mom is going and waiting in that particular in a particular area for their son to play soccer, and maybe you need to put a Amazon Go store around it. So that's really like the incremental value is coming from stickiness to Prime membership and data, and a lot of that movement that they can get in various parts of their business.